Okay, good morning class. We're on to our geometry class for grade 8, and then as you can see on the board, we're already treating what is called angles in a polygon. What we have now is angles in a quadrilateral. We know that a polygon is any figure. You discover from my previous videos that a polygon is any figure that has 3 or more straight sides. So technically we say a polygon is a plane closed figure with 3 or more lateral or straight sides. Technically the word lateral would mean straights, lines that are straight. I have done videos for grade 10 and grade 8 talking about lines, types of lines and things like that. So you may want to look up those videos to see how get better understanding of that. Okay, this is Mamu once again, and this is the mathematics multiverse. We will be using our new general mathematics for grade 8. That will be our resource material for this aspect of the class, and then if need be, we would be using our essential mathematics just to give us a bit of flexibility and help us understand the concept better. So for today's task, we'll be looking at angles in a quadrilateral. So what is a quadrilateral? A quadrilateral essentially is a four-sided figure. Quadrilateral is first of all a type of polygon. It is a type of polygon. That's number one. Another interesting thing is that it has what? 4 sides. What is of interest to us in this particular aspect of maths? I'll just draw anything, any 4-sided figure, straight sides. But what is interesting to us in this aspect of maths is what will be the sum of the interior angles. So we know that the smallest polygon or the first member of the polygons will be what? A triangle. So to get the sum of the angles or the interior angles of a quadrilateral, we will try to divide this quadrilateral along its what? Diagonal. What's a diagonal? A diagonal is a line that cuts across opposite angles of a figure. Now, with this said, I could just hypothetically name this A, B, C, D. What it means is that I have 2 triangles. Let me call this X prime, say that this is one triangle, and I'll call this what? X double prime. Say this is another triangle. We know that the sum of the angles of a triangle is what? 180. Is that not so? The sum of angles of a triangle is equal to what? 180. Is 180. Well, let's be more specific. Maybe I should have said interior so that we don't mix up the information. So interior angles will be what? 180. So how many triangles can you see? You discover that you're saying what? 2 triangles here. So if I'm saying 2 triangles here, it will mean that the sum of interior angles of a quadrilateral will be what? Will be 180 times 2, and that will be what? 360 degrees. So with this simple explanation, we will see that the sum of the angles of a quadrilateral is what? 360 degrees. It is this idea we are now going to use to handle this. So you start by saying, using notations or using notation as a diagram, it will mean that now when you're adding these angles here, take them orderly. Take them what? Orderly. Don't just pick them anyhow. What is the meaning of this sign? In mathematics, whenever you see something like this, it is what? 90 degrees. You should recognize and remember that. So this will be 90. I start from there. Plus what? 87. I go to what? A plus what? 124. Equal to what? 360 degrees. But I don't stop there. I will tell my examiner why that is. Angle sum of what? The short form for quadrilateral is what? Quad. You can write quad, you can write quadrilateral. I always like to encourage my students to learn to use shorthand. You use shorthand. But if you write quadrilateral, then you're correct. Very, very correct. So angle sum of what? Quad. So I will then do my simple arithmetic. I will add these two together. I'm going to get 177. I'll bring 124 to that. Plus A equal to what? 360 degrees. Another student could choose to do all of these first and then add them up, no problem. So I could come here. I've always advised us, don't be writing at the back of your notes. It's not necessary. This will be 1, this will be 0, and this will be 3. So I'll say 301 plus A equal to 360 degrees. You discover that at this point you're already doing what is called equations. So A will be equal to what? 360 minus 301. And the answer becomes 59 degrees. So we have solved question E. Okay, here we have the next problem in exercise 6C, question 1B. Now, we are required to look for C and we are required to look for D. We need to draw from the previous knowledge and experience we had in one of our classes. If you look at C and 58 degrees, you will discover that the relationship between this is that of a straight line. Is that not? So it means that C plus 58 will give us what? 180 degrees. So we'll start with that using notation as a diagram. We'll start by saying C plus 58 degrees will be equal to 180 degrees. What's the reason for that? Angles in all these angles in a straight line. Angles in a straight line. That will be the reason for that. Angles in a straight line will account for that reason. So with that, we can now find C. C will be equal to 180 minus 58 degrees, which will be what? 122 degrees. So that takes care of that. It is based on getting this answer, we can now go ahead to look for D. So we can now say that, now remember I said when you are writing, take them orderly and write what you are seeing before you make your substitution. Math is such an interesting subject. We try to help you. If you're very attentive, discover that you almost not struggle in mathematics. If you're paying attention, you almost not struggle because we always connect the ideas, and hence we are students of grade 8. In approaching maths now, we are looking at taking you in the course of the week. Look at 3 key aspects. Look at arithmetic, look at algebra, we look at what? Geometry, and see how all these aspects, you'll be seeing them. Oh, this is related to this, this is related to this, this is related to this, so that by the time you are solving a problem, your mind is open. You're not like that. You're not so relaxed in one aspect and begin to struggle in another aspect. It's quite slow. It might sometimes be painful, but at the end of the day, you are a better mathematician at this process. So we go to the next one. We pick the order you see. You can pick like this, or you pick like this. Order is the key word in mathematics. Try to be orderly. So I'm going to pick like this. Plus 94 plus D plus what? 75 equal to what? 360 degrees. What's the reason for that? Angle sum of what? Good. Now please take note of something. I forgot to say something. I'm writing here because I don't have enough space. In ideal write-up, you're supposed to put it here. But I'm writing under because I don't have enough space this way. Do you understand? So when writing yours, it's always when you place it here. That's where you should place your reason. But because I don't have enough space, I have to improvise. and writing it under these points. So at this point, the next thing you do is to substitute. What was C? 122. So 122 plus 94 plus D plus 75 equal to 360 degrees. Please always make your substitution. Don't start by writing 122 here. No, that's not what we are giving. We are giving letters. So start by writing the letters and make a relevant substitution for two reasons. One, it tells the examiner you know what you're doing. Two, it helps you to make concrete the knowledge you have gathered. So with that, we can now add all of this. So you can come to one corner of your book. You see that, and then you add it up. Don't write it at the back of your book. Write it there. It helps the examiner to know that, okay, this person is thinking. He knows what he or she is doing. Do it here. This will now be what? 1. The carry of 1, 10. I'm going to teach you how to be flexible in your thinking. Now, if I have 1 here, it's faster. I get 10. 10 plus 9, that's 19. The carry of 1 again. And that will become what? 2. So that will give you D plus 291 equal to 360 degrees. Which means D will be equal to 360 minus 291. Which will be equal to, I think that should be 69 degrees. Confirm that. That should be about 69 degrees. A quick observation here too. You can choose to write and not put the degrees, and at the end of the day, put your degrees. Yes, you can do that. Let's not get. See, that's the evolution of math today. Apply the ideas, but at the end of the day, once you are putting your final answer, we know that the angles is a what? Degree. So do make sure you put your unit at the end of the solution process. So that helps us, and that has concluded exercise 6C, question 1C. Okay, here we are trying to attend to question 1C. And the first thing we need to do whenever we're given a question is to look at the diagram. If you look at this diagram, you have two triangles. And this is the first thing I observed. And if I can get what this angle is, so I can get this angle. Once I get this angle, I'll be able to get this angle. So straight away, I will just simply say using notation as a diagram. Then with that, I'm going to have taking in that order, I can start with E plus 30, E plus 30, E plus 30 plus 100 is equal to 180 degrees. What's the reason for that? Angle sum of what? Triangle. Because this is a triangle. What I'm considering now is a triangle. Are you seeing that? So angle sum of triangle. That would mean that E plus 130 degrees will be equal to 180. So E will be equal to 180 minus 130. And that invariably will give me 50 degrees. So I've gotten that. Now I know this. So I need to look for F. So what do? I will now look at this figure now as a quadrilateral. So what do? I'll start by saying 100, starting from here, plus E plus 40. Remember I said, always write what you're seeing. I could put it in a bracket like this just to tell my examiner that this is one angle. Plus F plus what? 30 plus 70. 30 plus 70 will be equal to 300 and what? 60 degrees. Okay, that will mean that the reason for this will now be what? Angle sum of quad. So with that in place, what is E? E is 50, so I'll just say 100 plus 50 plus 40. Don't be in a hurry, take it gradually. Plus F plus this one I can easily take care of, 100 will be equal to 360 degrees. Then I try the next one, 100 plus 100 200 plus 90, that's 290. So F plus 290 will be equal to 360. Meaning that F will be equal to what? 360 minus 290. And what does that give you? That will give you what? That will give me what? 60, that's 60 now, 70. That will give me 70 degrees as my answer. So with that, I've been able to solve that problem. Okay, in looking at 1D, we will try to, now there are two things we should take note of in looking at this diagram. There are two key information we need to take note of here. One, we have that of this diagram having two triangles, number one, and this line is parallel to this line. What's that? This line is parallel to what? This line. Those are two important properties we must take note of in solving this problem. Anytime you're given a problem, try to start off by looking at what are the key information in this question that can help me solve the problem. So, having said that, I will start by trying to take care of I. Now in the exam, you can take care of anything you want to take care of. But I, based on my own assessment, I will take care of what I. So if you notice that you start by saying using notations as in diagram. Now students sometimes will ask, why are you saying using notations as in diagram? You discover that anytime you use the statement using notations as in diagram, you are trying to make your work simple. You are trying to communicate to the examiner that based on what I have solved, though, if you follow this my line of argument and you follow the notations I have used, these notations are not there. I have used them so that to make my work simple. If you follow me this way, you're going to understand what I have done. So that's why it's like that. So you come here, you have what? I plus what? Plus 55 plus 42 equal to 180 degrees. And what's the reason for that? Angle sum of triangle. Angle sum of triangle. Right, so with that, I plus, if you add this will give me what? You can write that somewhere in your book. And that will give me 97 equal to 180 degrees. And I will be equal to 180 minus 97 degrees. And if you do your maths well, that should give you 80 what? 83 degrees. So that's for I. Now, if you look at this carefully, there's another property being tested here. Look at this. This angle here will be equal to this angle here. What's the reason for that? Alternate angles. This angle is alternating this because this line is parallel to this. I see this. This angle is alternating this because this line is parallel to this line. So you're going to have that H will be equal to what? 42 degrees. What's the reason for that? Alternate angles. So alternate angles means that that is settled. So I've gotten this, so I can now look for this. Is that not? Now, this one, there are two ways to go about this. You can decide to go through all the triangles, or, okay, something very interesting here. If you watch carefully here, you know we went to use the quad, is that not? You could have used the triangle here, is that not? Is that not? So, you see that sometimes in an exam setup, it's what you're thinking, what you can see that will help you solve the problem. But the ideal thing here would have been to use this triangle here. So, once the triangle, so the observation here is anytime you see a figure, particularly quadrilateral that has been broken down into two, break in your mind that I'm going to be working in terms of triangles. Some of the triangles of a triangle equal to what? 180. You made that mistake there, it's not a problem. You're learning. You get to do it better the next time. So here, I'll have that H. I told us the particularly plus G plus 31 is equal to 180 degrees. What's the reason for that? Angle sum of what? Triangle. The angle sum of triangle will be that. So what that means is that h is already 42. 42 plus g plus 31 is equal to 180. So I'll add this to this. I'll add that g plus, this will be 73. I also like to teach my children to learn randomness. It's always very good if you're able to solve things randomly too. Not every time you go order. Sometimes you really need to be random. So with that settled, you're going to have that what? G will be equal to 180 minus 73. And obviously that should give me 107 degrees. And that will close out that answer. 107 degrees will close out that answer. Alright, we come to try to solve this question now. And if you notice in this question, this is a quadrilateral with two. Okay, we see a situation where there are two exterior angles and you have a quadrilateral here. Is that not so? This is an exterior angle, this is another exterior angle. Okay, so in solving this, you need to take care of this angle, take care of this angle. And then whatever you get, you relate to this one, and then you get that one out. So we'll start by saying, using notations as a diagram. In this particular exercise, we're told to solve, and we should be able to look for all the angles of the quadrilateral. So this will mean K plus 121 equal to 180 degrees. What's that? Angles of a straight line. Angles of a straight line. So with that, I can now get that K will be equal to 180 minus 121, which invariably will give me 59 degrees. 59 degrees will be the answer to that. So we've got K. Our next task will be to look for L. L plus 94 degrees will give me 180. And the reason for that is the same. Angles on a straight line. Angles on a straight line will still be the same reason for that. Angles on a straight line. And with that, we have that what? L will be equal to 180 minus 94. And that will give you, what should that be? That should be like 86 degrees. That will be 86 degrees. So we've gotten this, we've gotten this. So we can now relate everything together so we can get this. So that will be, remember I said take it orderly. So I'll start by writing J plus K plus L. J plus K plus L plus 152 degrees will give me 360 degrees. And the reason for that is the angle sum of what? Quadrilateral. The sum of the angles of the quadrilateral is what? 360 degrees. So that said, we know what K is, we know what L is, so we make a relevant substitution. So you see that you're using algebra here now, making your what? Relevant substitutions. So this will give me 59 plus 86 plus 152 equal to 360 degrees. Alright, so with this, you're going to have that what? You need to add all of this together. So I'll come to the side of my book and do the relevant additions. This will give me 17, and that will be 7, carry of 1. This is 10 plus 8 plus 1, that will give me 9. And that will be 1 to this, that will give me 297. I want to teach you how to do some, when we come to arithmetic, I'm going to be showing you some shortcuts, how you can do additions, subtractions, mentally, randomly. It's very important, you can do that. And that will give me 360 minus 297. And my final answer will be, that should be 63, on the spot on that. Yeah, 63 degrees. So that takes care of that problem.